Colbyjack.net is proud to present From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. The people of the fire, the Blesa, led by their queens, have ruled the island of Alfeyju and oppressed the Driva, the people of the ice, for more than 16 generations. With the Drivian King in hiding and little hope on the horizon, the Driva looked to one person to save them from the vile Blesa, the Diviana. According to legend, the divinely gifted Diviana will one day overthrow the Blesa and restore the Drivian King to his rightful throne. But with the search having lasted for more than 400 years, will the Diviana ever come to light? Willow is the slave of the Raskpil family. Bought at the age of 4, 20 years have passed since her life irrevocably changed. Her existence is no worse than any other slave, but within, Willow wonders if there isn't something more she should be doing with her life other than serving the ungrateful. Ordered to travel with her master's family to Sondertoft, so her master's adult children can take part in an ancient rite of passage, Willow is shocked when she learns that she too must participate. Will she fail, as all before her have? Will she rise to the challenge and become stronger after passing through the flames? Episode 33, Chapter 19, Aluak. The book of ivy slammed shut, ceasing the flow of knowledge and images. Willow felt her eyes flutter with exhaustion. Rubbing them with her free hand, she glanced toward the open doorway. The brightness of the day was vanishing quickly. "I must have been here for hours," Willow murmured, feeling stiff after sitting so long. "The guys must be wondering what happened to me." Willow got to her feet and stretched, the creaks and pops of her bones sounding loud in the quiet of the cave. The torches continued to merrily flicker, their light casting deeper shadows than when she'd first entered the room. But Willow's complete focus was on the book of ivy. Her mind was so full of wisdom, of images that she didn't know what to do with. She wanted to take the book away from this place, but she couldn't. This cave was its home, its resting place. It had no place in the real world. It was a thing of legend, of fable. To have it become a reality would somehow diminish it. No, as much as it pained Willow, the book of ivy had to stay here. Willow took one last look at it before turning her back to it and taking the first necessary steps to leave the cave. The second she left, the stone wall sealed behind her. Making her way from behind the waterfall, she wondered what would become of the book. Would it stay in the cave forever, never seen again by a living soul? Her ruminating was interrupted the moment she looked down to where she'd left Hawk and Sigurd. Instead of relaxing by the water, she saw them fighting 2 men, city guards by the look of them. Not pausing to think, she started to run down the cliff, creating her icicles as she went. But she didn't send them toward the guards, fearing she'd hit Hawk or Sigurd if she was off by even a little. Once she was on the same level as the combatants, she cried, "Stop! We're all fire!" Her words stopped the fighting couples, with the guards taking their eyes off her men for a second to see who spoke. When they saw the icicles hovering in the air, waiting for her command, they took a step away from Hawk and Sigurd. Seeing a chance to get out of sword's reach of the guards, Hawk and Sigurd moved backwards toward Willow, even as she walked toward them. Flicking her wrist, she sent the icicles to the guards. The icicles hovered around them, so close they could hurt them at any second if she commanded them to. But for now, they left the guards uninjured. "Get the horses," she ordered Hawk and Sigurd, who left her side. They clearly recognized that she had everything under control, and that they weren't needed to keep the guards at bay. Willow turned her attention to the guards. "Make a move to stop us from leaving, and I'll kill you." "Is there anyone on the other side of those trees? Anyone who would stop us from leaving?" "No. We came alone," one of the guards grunted after a minute, never taking his eyes off the icicles inches from his chest. "Good," she murmured. "Very good. Vaulting upon the back of her horse, which Sigurd had brought to her, she ordered, "You two, move toward the water, now!" The guards inched their way toward the water, their icicle companions following their every move. When they were out of the way, Willow, Sigurd, and Hawk rode past them and toward the trees blocking them from Fridrosa and freedom. Motioning for the others to go ahead of her, she turned back to the guards. "Stay here for 10 minutes. If you don't try to follow us, the icicles won't kill you. Come after us and die. Once the 10 minutes are up, they'll drop, and you'll be free to go." Not waiting for a response, Willow turned and caught up to Hawk and Sigurd. They were waiting for her on the other side of the trees. "What are we going to do?" Hawk hissed. "We need to go into the city to resupply, but we can't now. The guard will be looking for us." "We could split up," Sigurd suggested. "One going into the city and the other staying out here." "No," Willow said firmly. "We are not splitting up." Thinking fast, she said, "They'll be looking for 3 people on horseback or with horses. But if we enter the city on foot, we'll blend into the crowd." "But what about our horses?" Sigurd asked. "Without them, we'll have to walk everywhere. We need to keep the horses with us." "I'll send them to where we camped last night. They should be able to remember where that was," she said, dismounting quickly. "And it isn't too far for us to walk. It should be safe there." Hawk stared at her with shock. "Send them?" Get down. We don't have much time before those guards alert their friends and tell them what they saw." Hawk and Sigurd jumped down and grabbed their packs, leaving only the horses' tack on the majestic animals. Grabbing the reins for all the horses, Willow pulled their heads together and put her head close to theirs. Making eye contact with each of them, she murmured, "I need you to go back to last night's campsite. Stay off the road. Avoid people if you can. We'll be there as soon as possible, but don't worry if you don't see us until tomorrow. Stick together. Don't go off with any strangers. Understand?" They nodded their heads and nickered in agreement. "Good. Go quickly." Together, the horses turned around and started back the way they'd come. Only watching long enough until they disappeared from sight, Willow turned back to Hawk and Sigurd and said, "Come, pull your hoods up, and let's go." The 3 of them fell in step, moving quickly toward the north bridge and gate. In between her 2 companions, Willow felt their questions, concerns, and worries. However, now wasn't the time to answer their questions. It would take more time than they had to answer everything to their satisfaction, and time was not a friend at the moment. Blending into the crowds who were pushing their way into Fridrosa, Willow kept a tight grip on Val, while also trying to keep the others within arm's reach. It wasn't easy, for there were hundreds of people milling about, constantly bumping into her. Willow, keeping her eyes constantly moving, however, never for a second relaxed. They just passed through the gate when Willow saw Hawk and Sigurd wave her over to the entrance of the market, where they'd stepped out of the crowd. When she reached them, Hawk spoke. "Sigurd's going to buy the food, while I buy the other supplies we need. Your job will be to watch out for the guards, and anyone else who might be looking for us." "But we have to split up for at least a little, or else we won't be able to get out of here fast," Sigurd said. "You have to trust us." "Fine," Willow said, willing to do it their way for the sake of time. "But you don't enter any shops or leave this street, agreed?" "Agreed," Sigurd and Hawk said. With a solid plan, they stepped back into the flow of the crowd, where they were pushed and shoved into the city. A city which looked bigger from the inside than from the outside. The second they entered the main market area, Hawk and Sigurd parted company, each man going in opposite directions, leaving Willow alone. She walked from stall to stall, pretending to shop. In reality, she was keeping her eyes open for trouble, ready at any moment to grab her men and get to safety. As she followed their movements and watched as they exchanged silver for goods, she came across a slave auction with a large crowd of onlookers. Her eyes were drawn to the 3 chained women and 4 small children on the auction block. The sadness they projected broke her heart. That could have been her if things hadn't gone the way they had. She could have been chained on an auction block, being sold to the highest bidder. All right, the auctioneer cried. We've got you quite a deal today. 3 Drivian slave women and 1 Blesian slave woman. The children are all Blesian and will be priced to sell. The auctioneer grabbed the woman closest to him and roughly pushed her forward. Her shirt sleeve was rolled up, revealing a mark. No, not a mark, a brand. A brand of a crown. Willow had never noticed a brand on the slave she'd been around before. But not only did the other slaves on the auction block have brands, the other 3 women had a different brand. On their arm was the ancient rune symbolizing wealth and chattel. We'll start the bidding for this one. She can cook and clean well, but is also good for warming your bed. Who'll give me 100 pieces of silver for her? Willow turned away. She couldn't watch anymore. It was barbaric. It was inhuman. Perhaps, when I complete my quest, I'll be able to get slavery outlawed, Willow thought, trying to not listen to the haggling going on behind her. A loud commotion drew her attention back to the world around her. It also made her realize she'd taken her eyes off not only Hawk and Sigurd, but also off of any guards who might be looking for them. Pushing her way out of the crowd to catch up to her men, she bumped very hard into a man. Off balance from the hit, the man grabbed her shoulders to steady both of them. "Excuse me, miss." Looking into the man's face, Willow immediately recognized him, for he was the mirror image of his ancestors. "Excuse me, Your Majesty. I wasn't looking where I was going. Forgive me." You have been listening to From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. Read, recorded, mastered, encoded, and produced by Colbyjack.net. This work is released under a Creative Commons 3.0 Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Do what you want with it, just don't try to profit from it. Heaven knows we can't. If you have any questions, comments, or rants you wish to share with us, we can be reached at Colbyjack.net. That's COLBYTRAX @COLBYJACK.net. Yep, I sing it too. If you want to follow the exploits of Trisha in Twitterland, just search for Lady Trisha W on Twitter, or follow the ever-dashing, courageous, hardworking, intelligent, and immensely humble Colbyjack on the Twitters as well. If you find that you can't just wait to find out what will happen with Willow, the strong dude and the annoying dude, be heartened to know that From the Flames is available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Smashwords, as well as from our little shop. Didn't you know about our little shop? Why, yes, we have a little shop located at shop. That's shop.colbyjack.net. That's shop.colbyjack.net. Yeah, real original there. There you will find the latest ebook versions of all our works in both Mobi and ebook, all DRM-free, as well as audiobook versions of such works as Firmware Hijacked and Proxy, as well, naturally, as well as From the Flames. The audiobooks differ from the podcasts in that the headers and bumpers only run once, and the episodes are grouped into hour-long episodes for easy burning to CD or for downloading on the go. If you find you don't need any stuff, but just want to thank us monetarily for our efforts here, just head on over to Colbyjack.net, select either audio or visual, and look for the donate button located on the blog roll. Well, anyway, thank you for listening, have a wonderful week, and remember to be fabulous.